Hi, it's the Rawsome Vegan Gal here, and today I am doing a follow-up to last week's video where we talked about the products from Navitas, the superfood company, and I mentioned that I'm going to be making a special cake called the Rainbow Superfood Multi-Layer Cake, and it was a bit of a labor-intensive project, but I'm sure it will be worthwhile, and I'll talk to you about it in a few minutes. But first, I forgot to show you, and I'm wearing actually two shirts, and the reason is because these shirts are from Navitas, and they're very nice because each one talks about a different one of their superfood products. The one that I'm wearing on top, I'll show you, I'll kind of come down here, is for maca. And we know maca is actually, it says on here, it was used by Incan warriors for strength and endurance, and it has adaptogenic properties, and it grows at 14,000 feet above sea level, thriving in freezing temperatures, intense sunlight, and high winds. That's pretty cool. And it is an adaptogen, so it supports hormonal balance and addresses adrenal fatigue. So that's very good to know. Adrenal glands overproduce cortisol when under stress. So balancing cortisol levels can help with stress, sleep, memory, and metabolism. That's pretty cool. And then in the back, I don't know if you can see the back of the shirt, bend down a little. It has some writing there talking about that they're nutrient dense and, you know, sustainable and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the second shirt, which is underneath this one. And this one is for chia. You can see that there, it says chia. And chia is a Mayan word that means strength. And they absorb 10 times their weight in water and picking up bad stuff along the way. So that's really good in your body. It pulls out stuff that is not good for you. One serving of chia seeds has 8 times more omegas than salmon, 5 times more calcium than milk, 2 times more potassium than a banana, 3 times more antioxidants than blueberries, and 15 times more magnesium than broccoli. That's pretty amazing. And also it has fiber, which binds to and removes toxins and cholesterol to support a healthy digestive system. It helps slow down sugar absorption as well, so that's very good if you're eating something with sweets. Like this one has some coconut sugar in it, the cake, so that's good as well. And then it also, the omegas, essential fatty acids support healthy cell membranes, especially in the brain. That's very important. Our brain needs to get a lot of the energy from the food that we take in. Helps promote healthy cholesterol levels and cardiovascular health. So I wanted to make sure I show you that. I don't know if you can see the shirt that well. So those are really cool. So now I'm going to talk to you about the cake. I'm going to show you it's actually in its container right now with parchment paper, and then we're going to show it to you. And if you can't really see exactly what it looks like, but hopefully when we're done you will. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how I went about doing this. So as you see, I lined one of these, I have one of these Pyrex bowls. So I wanted to get a shape, so I don't have like a spring foam whatever pan. So I decided to use a Pyrex type bowl that can go in the freezer because I wanted it to harden. So what I did was I lined it with parchment paper, and the parchment paper I used is from this company. They also make baking cups. It's called If You Care, and I'll have a link to their site. These are their baking cups, and this is their parchment paper. And what I was thinking too is if you wanted to make it into little muffins, kind of multi-layer muffins, it would be a little even more labor intensive because there's like 7 different layers of the ingredients that I use of the superfoods, besides the in-between layers, which I'll explain. So that's a little bit more complicated, but you definitely want to line it. The reason you line it is then it's easier to pop out from the container. Like what it is we're going to turn it over and I'll show you. So so what you do is I did a couple of different things. So I'm going to see if I can find the products that I used to show you what I actually did. So what I did was I took some chia seed powder, and some cacao powder, you can see that, and some coconut sugar, and these I all talked about last week in detail. And I took those 3, mixed them together to get a layer for like a bottom crust. And what I did then is I did the colors of the rainbow colors. Kind of, I don't know if they're going to exactly show the colors so brightly, you know, because what I did with each each of the superfoods that I use for that is I added some water to kind of thicken it. So that, I don't know how it will show once I cut it, but we'll see how it came out. Now when you do this, you want to have another bowl and a lot of spoons, as I have here, and maybe a knife too. Because what you're going to do is you're going to be going into the packages of the products and using that and putting some in the bowl, adding just very small amounts of water. Do it very slowly, gradually, because you don't want it to get too watery, because then you'll have to add more of the powder. The different powders. So you do very gingerly at a time. You may even want to take a little dropper for water and put it in like that really slowly and then mix it. So so then you want a lot of spoons because you want clean spoons. You don't want any that are wet. So have a lot of extra spoons. Plus some of the ingredients that I use as in between layers, I actually just kept the spoon in the package. So the way I layered it, so you know, in order of the colors. And actually, since I put the red color, which is the pomegranate powder, on top, I'm actually going to be flipping it over the other way, but probably once, since it's frozen, I could probably flip it back by just using another plate to flip it back and forth. So what I used was pomegranate powder. So here's the pomegranate powder, was the first one. Then I used goji. This is not goji. Hold on, let me see if I can find the goji. Goji powder. I don't know where it is at the moment. Maybe I misplaced it, but I did use it. Let's see. Sorry that I'm not able to find it at the moment, but I did use goji powder. And then I used the camu. And then I used, let's see, next I used the green coffee. I'll find my green coffee powder. It's hiding here. Here's, oh no, that's the hemp seeds. Trying to find the green coffee powder. I'm not finding it. So we'll get back to that. Here's the wheatgrass powder. That came after the green coffee powder. I think I see the green coffee powder. Here it is. Here's the green coffee powder. And then I think I see the goji berry powder in here too. Here we go. So here's the goji. So it went pomegranate, goji, camu, green coffee, wheatgrass. Then after the wheatgrass was the acai powder. And then after the acai was the maqui powder. So that was the order. So there are 7 different layers. So then what I did, put these back here behind me, and then what I did afterwards was in between each layer, what I did was I put either lucuma or maca powder mixed with chia seeds or hemp seeds. So I used, let's see, here's the maca. I used maca, and then I used lucuma. Find the lucuma powder. Here's the lucuma powder. And then I also added to the mix a little bit of hemp seeds and then a little bit, or some chia seeds. I can find the chia seeds. Let's see, where are my chia seeds? Here they are. And the chia seeds. So what I did was on occasion I kind of mixed it with a little water. At times I also just put it on as a powder on a layer, and then I took this knife to kind of flatten it out. So that's what I did. So in between each of the 7 colored, kind of, I call them superfoods, that's what makes the rainbow colors, I put these other. Now I don't know, again, like I said, how it's going to come out. We'll take a look once I cut it, if we can actually see the colors, how it came out. Another thing too is instead of using water, you can also use coconut water if you want to make it sweeter. Now I tasted some of the powders as I went along. Some are strong, like the camu. Some are a little more bitter, so that's why having these other layers in between lucuma and maca are sweet, so there can add some sweetness to it. And then if you wanted to add some coconut sugar to each of the powders, you can. I chose not to do that. Oh, and then the other thing you do is when you're spreading it around in the bowl, you want to make sure that you get around to all the edges, even though this is round. Because when you cut it, you want to have them on each, like besides being in the middle, once you cut it, you want to be able to see all those colors. So you want to, when you, it's hard to show. I'm not showing you how to actually, I'm not actually making it in front of you, but you want to make enough of the powders when you add some of the liquid to it to thicken it, to make like a layer. You want to make sure there's enough to spread around. And, you know, not just a tiny, extremely thin layer. You want enough so that it's visible. So hopefully that'll show when I cut it. So, and then on top, what you can, the last ingredient that I didn't use in the product is the cacao nibs. That you could just sprinkle on top, kind of for garnish and to get a little crunch to it. So I didn't actually do that yet while I was freezing it. So what I did was I actually froze it overnight. Now what you want to do to be able to cut it is you want to make sure you take it out for a little while, a half hour or so, so that you don't want it to get like watery again, but you want it to be able to cut into it with a knife. Now the top part, as I noticed, the pomegranate layer actually still stayed a little more wetter, even though I kept it in the freezer a long time. For whatever reason, it didn't congeal so much, even though it has, I think it has some chia seeds mixed in. So what happened was, as I did the in-between layers, some of the seeds kind of mixed in with the actual powders, so which is fine too. There's no problem with that. So what we're going to do now is see if I can show this to you in front of the camera. So what I have is I have it in here with the parchment paper, and it actually just comes right out. Or it should come right out. Let's see if I can do that. Comes right out of the bowl. Okay, it just actually came right out of the bowl, just like that. Now what we're going to do is turn it upside down and see if we could pull away. Ooh, it's a little bit watery. We're pulling away now the, ooh, wow, it looks pretty, wow. Nicer than I thought. So the bottom layer, now I have to show you what the parchment paper looks like. Stunning. So here's our cake. You can't really, I don't know that you could see it that well, unfortunately. But I do want to show you the parchment paper is stunning. It's a work of art. Just the parchment paper itself. And parchment paper is natural. You could actually scrape this off. So I don't know if you could see that. I'm not getting the lighting so good, so maybe you could see it from afar. There we go. So now the cake, I'm going to actually bring the camera over to the cake so you could actually see what it looks like, because I wasn't getting a really good view from where I was. So hopefully you could see it now. I'm holding the camera. There you can see it. Wow, that looks actually really nice. So the top layer is actually the chocolate, and the bottom, which is the pomegranate layer, actually stayed moister. So actually that looks really beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it so we can see how it looks inside once I cut it. And actually that's really nice, the pomegranate layer actually getting creamy around the plate. So we're going to cut this if I can. I'll have to do it away from the camera for just a second. So I'm going to cut it and show you what it looks like cut. So we can actually see the inside of it, hopefully. Let's see. It's kind of coming apart here. So here I am cutting it. Whoops, it's separating. It's not a baked cake, so you got to understand that it's going to maybe separate a little. So, okay, let's see if I can get it for you to see what it looks like. Kind of hard for me to show it to you, but let's see if I can put it like this. Maybe you can see it now. Sorry if I'm not getting the best lighting here where I'm at. So there's the cake. There's part of it actually. You can't see it all. Some of it got stuck to the bottom. But I think it came out really nice. Again, you have to experiment with this and see that it will actually come out. You know, if you want it to be harder, you may have to add less water. So I think it's a good experiment to try. But I think it was a fun project, and I thank you for watching. It's the Rawsome Vegan Gal.